An infectious diseases expert allays fears over the supposed virus outbreak in China that is allegedly overwhelming hospitals. Dr. Rogin Solante says the spread of viruses that cause cough and colds is common during colder seasons.
This is a virus that usually is common during this time. October, November, December, they present with like an influenza-like illness manifestation, ubo, sipon, and then sometimes they will have fever. And usually during this time, we call this the respiratory virus season. You also have influenza, you also have RSV. But so far, the way what we are monitoring in most hospitals, hindi naman tumataas ang mga kaso in terms of respiratory tract infection. So I don't think there is an alarming number of cases. This is a virus that, just like your influenza, it causes fever, cough, and usually it's self-limited. No? Hindi siya talagang unlike the experience we have with COVID before, that a lot of those will be really admitted. It's not that severe, it's not that as virulent as COVID.
An update now on Kon Volcano in Negros Island, which remains on alert level 3. Over the past 24 hours, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology monitored 37 volcanic quakes. It also recorded 3,600 tons of sulfur dioxide emissions, slightly lower than recent days, which reached a peak of 7,000 tons. But PHIVOLC says this is still considered elevated based on Kanlaon's background. It adds there is still no trend to the volcano's activity and that an eruption remains a possibility.
Kasi nagpa-fluctuate yung measurements niya, minsan tumataas, minsan bumababa. So wala pa rin tayong nakikitang trend, either downtrend or uptrend doon sa mga parameters na monitor natin. So that's the reason why right now, nasa alert level 3 pa rin tayo. Hindi natin pwedeng ibaba.
Philippine police on heightened alert for the Feast of the Black Nazarene happening on Thursday, January 9th. Over 6.5 million devotees are expected to join the grand procession from Quirino Grandstand to Quiapo Church in Manila. Meanwhile, around 12,000 police officers will be deployed to ensure security.
Wala po tayong namamonitor na anumang banta sa seguridad dito sa Metro Manila. Dahil man ang inyong kapulisan ay mananatiling alerto at handang rumisponde po sa anumang oras at sitwasyon. Sa ating mga kababayan na may sakit, may karamdaman o disabled, senior citizen, buntis, mayroon dalang maliit na bata, kung maaari ay huwag na pong sumama sa posisyon.
Former Caloocan Representative Edgar Aris slams the Commission on Elections for alleged power tripping following his disqualification in the 2025 midterm polls. Aris has sought a temporary restraining order after the COMELEC barred his candidacy for allegedly spreading false and alarming information. But Aris argues there is no legal basis for the disqualification. He also claims COMELEC Chairman George Garcia has a hidden agenda behind the move.
Legal harakiri yung ginawa sa akin ng COMELEC sapagkat galit sila sa akin. Si Chairman Garcia, alam mo, na kaibigan na ako, maaari niya at siya yung abogado nung katunggali ko. Dalawa lang kami. Malapit na malapit sila. Hitting two birds in one stone. Napaboran niya na yung kalaban ko at nakaganti pa siya sa akin.
A teachers group planning to file a petition questioning the legality of the allotted budget for the education sector for 2025 before the Supreme Court. The Teachers Dignity Coalition says their petition aims to clarify the interpretation of the budget for education as stated in the Constitution. The allocated budget for the education sector has received the ire of a lot of people after budgets for non-DepEd, ed, non-CHED, non-TESTA, and non-SUC programs were added. These include the budgets for the Philippine Military Academy, Philippine National Police Academy, National Defense College, Local Government Academy, and the Philippine Public Safety College.
Mukhang nilabag yung ating saligang batas doon pag-allocate ng mas malaking budget sa DPWH instead of the education sector. Problema para lang mahilot na mas malaki ang education sector budget ang ginawa dito ay isinama yung mga traditionally ay hindi naman talaga kabilang dito sa budget ng education.
State-run pension fund SSS has increased its contribution rate for its more than 40 million members. Some sectors now calling for the suspension of that rate hike, calling it a burden to workers. Jackie Pascual reports.
The Social Security System, or SSS, has implemented a 15% contribution rate hike effective January 1 this year. The minimum monthly salary credit has also been set at 5,000 pesos, while the maximum MSC is at 35,000 pesos. The rate increase covers all 40+ million members of SSS.
Empleyado, self-employed, OFW. Yun yung mga manggagawa natin. Lahat ay nag-increase ng contribution rate. Lahat ay nag-increase ng maximum monthly salary credit.
Villacorta says the rate hike is based on Republic Act 11199 or the Social Security Act of 2018. The said law mandates SSS to increase the contribution rate every 2 years to extend the company's fund life. Employers will cover the 10% of the 15% rate increase, while the employees absorb the remaining 5%.
Without this, the fund of SSS would last only up to 2032 with the additional pension benefit of 1,000 pesos given to all pensioners starting 2017. The schedule of contribution rate increases and MSC, monthly salary credit, increases. The fund life has been extended to 2053.
SSS adds members will also benefit from the rate increase.
Sa pag-adjust ng monthly salary credit pataas, tama, tumaas ng bahagya ang contribution, pero tataas din ng bahagya o ng malaki ang ating benepisyo.
The Employers Confederation of the Philippines says though they are against any increases, they have no objection to this new hike since it's covered by law.
While we are all against, both employers and labor are against increases, especially during this time, we did not protest against that anymore because it looks like okay naman yung services ng SSS, ano? At we expect that dapat mag-establish talaga SSS. Unlike PhilHealth, for instance.
Other sectors, however, are not happy with the increase. Gabriela Party List Representative Arlene Brosas calls the hike a cruel New Year's gift, saying that this adds burden to workers which were supposed to be given a salary increase and not a contribution increase. Former Bayan Muna Representative Nery Colmenares also slams SSS, saying this policy should be suspended amid high prices of basic goods. But for House Assistant Majority Leader and Tingog Party List Representative Jude Asidre, any call for suspension must be studied carefully.
It was a product of a legislation signed by former President Duterte. I'm sure it will have serious implications, especially with the actuarial health of SSS. Kailangan nating aralin ng mabuti kung ano magiging mas tama kakmang hakbang. Hindi ho pwedeng arbitrary isuspend natin.
SSS, however, says suspending the law would be illegal.
Hindi ho pwedeng isuspend dahil tayo ay sumusunod sa batas para po mapangalagaan ang pondo din ng SSS.
The contribution rate hike remains in effect, with SSS officials hoping the 15% rate would be the last and long-term contribution rate for the pension fund. Jackie Pascual, ABS-CBN News.
The Philippine Coast Guard ramps up its monitoring of China's so-called monster ship. China Coast Guard vessel 5901 was spotted loitering off the waters of Zambales over the weekend. The PCG deployed a ship as well as aircraft to document its movement and record any potential incidents. It also issued repeated radio challenges.
Wala naman siyang aggressive action na ginagawa. Hindi rin naman siya nag-carry out ng mga dangerous maneuvers whatsoever. Kapag palapit na tayo sa kanya, it's also moving away, no? So I think the deployment of the Philippine Coast Guard vessel and the monitoring of our PCG aircraft is an effective way to deter yung China Coast Guard from moving closer to our coastline.
For one analyst, China's deployment of its monster ship is yet another show of force from Beijing. This after the Philippines defended its plan of acquiring a Typhoon missile system from the U.S.
umpisa pa lang ngayong taon talagang inaano na sila, pinamumukha sa atin, no? Huwag nyo kaming, kumbaga, hamunin. Huwag nyo kaming pikunin. Kasi talagang kaya namin kayo tapatan at in fact, durugin. Talagang show of force. Lantaran tayong dinidulo ng China. China-challenge natin yung kanyang pananakop sa West Philippine Sea, South China Sea. Kumbaga, pinararating natin sa China, hindi tayo aatras sa kanyang pananakop.
The PCG says China's monster ship moved away from the waters of Zambales Saturday night, but the monitoring of its movements continues. A 100-day deal entered into the Philippine and U.S. governments comes into effect with the arrival of the first 2 batches of Afghan immigrants. Let's get details from our correspondent Zen Hernandez. Zen, over to you.
Yes, Carmina, just to clarify, it may not be 2 batches as earlier declared to us by the U.S. Embassy. Now it's up to 300 Afghan nationals who arrived in the Philippines today, and this is pursuant to a deal between the Philippines and the United States regarding the Philippines' temporary hosting of U.S. special immigrant visa applicants from Afghanistan. This is a deal that was signed between the 2 governments last July 29, 2024, and ratified by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. last September 25 of the same year. Just to quickly explain, the SIV, or the Special Immigrant Visa, is a global program being offered by the U.S. government to foreign nationals who worked for them. So clearly, these Afghan nationals are not refugees. In a statement today, the Department of Foreign Affairs emphasized several things. First, that these applicants hold the appropriate Philippine entry visas. Second, that they completed extensive security vetting by Philippine national security agencies. And third, that they also underwent full medical screening prior to their arrival in the Philippines. The DFA also made it clear that the U.S. government is supporting all necessary services for these SIV applicants during their temporary stay in the Philippines, including food, housing, medical care, security, and transportation in order for them to complete their visa processing. The DFA also received an assurance from the U.S. Embassy in Manila that the Philippines, or the program, will not impact normal operations and processing of immigrant and non-immigrant visas for Filipinos. Now, a U.S. State Department official did explain to us, Carmina, that back in the fall of 2021, the U.S. sought the help of many of its allies in the evacuation and resettlement efforts for its Afghan allies. And by Afghan allies, we mean people who worked and served the U.S. government operations in Afghanistan for the past 20 years. If you remember, the U.S. launched military operations in Afghanistan back in 2001 as part of its immediate response to the September 11 terrorist attacks. This lasted for 2 decades, that is, until the Taliban had a resurgence and seized the Afghan capital of Kabul once again in August 15, 2021, forcing the U.S. to evacuate troops and shut down operations, including that of its embassy. Now, while it sought the help of several allies, the Philippines was an ideal transit location for the Afghans for 2 reasons. One, we have one of the biggest U.S. diplomatic missions in the world, which means it has the capacity to process 300 SIV applicants without hampering day-to-day operations. And second, we have direct flights to the U.S. Under the agreement, the U.S. Embassy has a total of 100 days to process all applicants before the deal terminates. But each applicant must be processed in an even shorter period of 59 days, since the Philippine visas they were issued only have a 59-day validity period as well. Under the agreement, the Afghan SIV applicants will be confined to an undisclosed billet facility and will only be allowed to leave its premises once for a consular interview at the U.S. Embassy in Manila. The U.S. government, together with the International Organization for Migration, or IOM, will act as the billet facility managers to ensure that all applicants will have adequate social, educational, religious, and emotional support during their temporary stay in the Philippines, especially since many of them are children. Once SIVs are issued, the Afghan nationals and their families will be flown straight to the U.S. But in the case of a visa denial, the U.S. government will facilitate the transfer of the applicant to another platform or country. Back to you, Carmina.
All right, Zen, just a clarification on the clarification you made. Are you saying that it is no longer clear how many batches will arrive for as long as that the arrivals would amount to 300 individuals? Is that correct?
The agreement states that we are only hosting a total of 300 applicants. So from the report that we received today from the U.S. Embassy and the DFA, it looks like all of the applicants have already arrived in the country. So there will be no need for any further batches. We will only have one batch of Afghan SIV applicants.
All right, so
they are all in the country right now.
All right, all of the 300 SIV applicants arrived in the country today. Thanks again, Zen Hernandez there, joining us on the line. Happy New Year, Zen.
Happy New Year.